guys, I'm Mark from Portion of Sport and welcome to Game Week 10 of the Premier League Review. If you are new to this series, what we do is we take a look at the last set of Premier League results, we take a look at the current Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the top goal scorers. So here is a list of the Premier League results. If you want to hear about a specific game, just click on it and you'll be magically transported to the match that you clicked on. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. And we start with Sunderland versus Arsenal. Arsenal were dominating the early portion of the game and deservedly went ahead 20 minutes into the game following a brilliant passing display from the Gunners. But at the end of the movement, it was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain who got around his man. An excellent cross from him finds Alexis Sanchez who buries it with a diving header. Arsenal would have 65% possession in the entire first half as Sunderland were abysmal. But in the second half, to be fair to them, they did improve. I mean, it wasn't hard, but you know, in the 60th minute, however, Arsenal should have had a penalty as Alexis Sanchez gets in the box and Lamina Corney brings him down. The referee, however, waves it off and play goes on. Approximately 30 seconds later, it's Sunderland who get into the box, and would you believe it, Sunderland have a penalty. Duncan Watmore steals the ball and is through on goal before being brought down by Petr Cech. The keeper then gets a yellow card, and Jermaine Defoe steps up to take the penalty, and he tucks it high and left. But Arsenal would regain the lead 10 minutes later, and it was substitute Olivier Giroud who got himself a goal with his first touch. It came when Kieran Gibbs has the ball and his cross successfully finds the Frenchman, and he volleys home for his first Premier League goal in 2 months. And Arsenal would add another one 4 minutes later, and it was Olivier Giroud who got himself another goal with his second touch. It came when Mesut Ozil whips in a corner at the near post, and Giroud got his head on it. The Sunderland keeper got a hand to it, but not enough as it tumbles into the net. And at this point, Giroud was only on the pitch 6 minutes and already bagged himself 2 goals. And 2 minutes later, Arsenal would put the game to bed, and it was Alexis Sanchez who got his second of the game. It came following a series of Arsenal attacks, and in the end it finally went in. Kieran Gibbs saw his shot bounce off the post, Aaron Ramsey sees his shot deflected, and the ball falls nicely for Sanchez who taps it home from point blank range. And that's how the game would end. Arsenal back into winning ways following last week's draw with Borough, and Sunderland are still yet to win this season, and guess what? You're going down. You are going down. There's nothing I can say. You've broke a record. You are officially the worst team in the Premier League ever. This is the worst start to a season ever. You haven't won in 10. With 3, I think we're like, what, a third of the way through the season already? Like, coming up to a third, and you haven't won. That's just abysmal. David Moyes, you're crap, mate. You haven't won a Premier League game in about 900 days. Jack Rodwell has started 33 games for Sunderland, hasn't won a single one. Newcastle, they're in the Championship. They've won a game in the Premiership more recently than you. They're like, what, 162 days? And I think Sunderland's last win was 166 days ago. You're just trash. You are trash, Sunderland. You're going down. Just deal with it. Just enjoy the Championship. It's where you belong. And shame on you, Arsenal fans. Giving Sunderland a little bit of hope, letting them go level. Oh yeah, you can have a penalty, come on, you can score, and then crushing their dreams. Shame on you. But with this result, Sunderland obviously still bottom, and Arsenal are joint on points with league leaders Manchester City, but behind on goal difference. And we move on to Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Right, I hope you're ready for this, because there were 6 goals in this game, and 5 of them came in the first half. Let's go. The first one came for Liverpool, and would you believe it, Alberto Moreno actually got an assist. I know, it's shocking, he did something right. Felipe Coutinho dinks the ball forward to Moreno, who puts it on a play for Emre Can, who cuts it back first time into the net. 3 minutes later, however, Liverpool would have a Liverpool moment as they give Crystal Palace a goal with horrible defending. Dejan Lovren tries to head the ball back to Loris Karius, but the ball goes straight up in the air, and James McArthur is able to lob Karius with a header of his own. 3 minutes later, again, Dejan Lovren would make up for his mistake with a goal of his own, and it came from a corner. Felipe Coutinho whips the ball in, and Lovren outmuscles his man and headers home. And 10 minutes later, Crystal Palace would equalise again, and it was James McArthur who got his second of the game. And it came from another header. Wilfried Zaha whips the ball in, and James McArthur rises highest than Lovren and nods it home. And in the 43rd minute, Liverpool would take the lead again, and it was their other centre-back who got on the score sheet, and it was from another corner. I know, Liverpool scoring 2 goals from corners. The world is ending. Felipe Coutinho whips the ball in from another corner, and our free signing this summer, Joel Matip, thumps the ball in the net with a bullet header. Liverpool would pull away in the 71st minute when they added the 6th goal of the match and Liverpool's 4th, and it was Roberto Firmino who got the goal. It came when Jordan Henderson played a brilliant pass that split the Palace defenders and plays Roberto Firmino one-on-one with Steve Mandanda, and the Brazilian calmly dinks it over the Frenchman. And that's how the game would end, Liverpool picking up another 3 points to stay level with Arsenal and Manchester City. This result is Liverpool's 6th win in 7 league games, and this is a 3rd consecutive loss for Palace. What is happening with Liverpool this season? We mean business this season. This is the most consistent I've seen us in years. This is normally the matches where we lose points. Crystal Palace, West Brom, Swansea, we normally drop points. what is happening? We're not only beating them, we're beating them by a margin. I mean, yet the score sheet, the score of this match does indicate that Crystal Palace and Liverpool, you know, they weren't that Liverpool couldn't beat Palace, you know, by much. But to be fair, Palace didn't get a goal. We got their goals, basically. We just gave it to them on a plate. Our defending is trash. We won't win the league if we keep this defending up. It just will not happen. And we move on to West Brom versus Manchester City. Manchester City would open the scoring 90 minutes into the match, and it looked like they were playing against a bunch of 6-year-olds. They basically walked it in. It came when Fernandinho had the ball out wide. He then lays it off to Ilkay Gundogan, who basically jogs towards the goal. He lays it off to Sergio Aguero, who places it into the net with a crisp finish. And Sergio Aguero would double Manchester City's lead 10 minutes later, and it was a brilliant strike from the Argentine. The ball is lingering on the edge of the West Brom box. Two West Brom defenders simply staring at the ball as if to say, "You clear it, no you. You clear it, no you. Go ahead, be my guest." No, none of them did, and Sergio Aguero takes a touch and smashes it into the top corner. The game would die down for the rest of the first half and most of the second half, but in the 80th minute Manchester City put the game to bed, and it was their summer signing Ilkay Gundogan who got himself a goal. Sergio Aguero added an assist to his tally as well, as he brilliantly flicks the ball on and the German slots it home. And in the 89th minute, Ilkay Gundogan would get his second of the game and Manchester City's fourth, as Kevin De Bruyne takes the ball forward on the left. He picks out Gundogan, who strokes home first time, even with 4 West Brom defenders surrounding him. And that's how the game would end, Manchester City putting an end to their 6-game winless streak and keeps them top of the table, but level on points with Arsenal and Liverpool. And we move on to Stoke versus Swansea. This game got off to an action-packed start, as we had 2 goals within the first 10 minutes of this match. The first would come in the 4th minute, and it was Wilfred Bonney who got his first goal for Stoke City. It came when a Stoke corner is headed directly up into the air by Neil Taylor. It falls for former Swansea player Joe Allen, who is under no pressure from any Swansea player, and he is able to shoot, but his shot was utter crap, and it ends up being a perfect pass for Bonney, who was able to convert from about 5 yards out. But 4 minutes later, Swansea would equalise the score, and it came out of nowhere. It came when Fernando Llorente brought the ball down nicely, and he finds Gylfi Sigurdsson. His cross should really be dealt with by Phil Bardsley, but he doesn't get rid of it, and Wayne Routledge was able to powerfully head home from close range. The game would die down for the rest of the first half, but Stoke deservedly retook the lead in the 55th minute, and it came when their teenage substitute Ramadan Sobhi forced the Swans to put it in their own net. It came when Glenn Whelan split the Swansea defence with a brilliant through ball. Sobhi then beats his man 3 times on the edge of the area, and he puts the ball in the middle, which Alfie Mawson can do nothing, and the ball goes in via the Swansea player. Stoke would put the game to bed in the 73rd minute when Wilfred Bonney doubled his goal tally for the night. It came when Marko Arnautovic played a beautiful back heel nutmeg into the path of Joe Allen. Allen then drives forward, takes a shot which Fabianski can only parry it back out to Allen. He then finds the head of Wilfred Bonney with a cross, and the forward heads the ball into the back of the net. And that's how the game would end. Yet another win for Stoke. That's 3 league wins on the trot for them now, and this result put them in 12th. And Swansea is still struggling this season, and they might be in for a long season if they keep performing like this. It looks like they're really missing their leader Ashley Williams at the back this season, but this result continues Swansea's search for a win, as they are without a win since the opening day of the season. And we move on to Middlesbrough versus Bournemouth. Middlesbrough were looking for their first home win of the season, and they got the first goal of the match, and it was a beautiful goal from Gaston Ramirez. Ramirez picks up the ball in his own half, flicks it past a Bournemouth player, storms forward, he gets inside the Bournemouth box, flicks it past another Bournemouth defender, and slots home for the opener. Middlesbrough would double their lead in the 55th minute, and it was local lad Stuart Downing who got it the second. It came when Adoma Traore crosses the ball for Alvaro Negredo. Negredo nods the ball back across goal, and Stuart Downing is there for his first goal of the season. And that's how the game would end. Middlesbrough get what might be a vital win if they want to stay up this season, and also record their first win at the Riverside. This result also continues Bournemouth's horrible run of away results, with this being their 7th away league game, still without a win. And we move on to Southampton versus Chelsea. It wouldn't take long for Chelsea to open the scoring, although it wasn't as quick as they did last week, but it was relatively quick, and it came from the Belgian wide man Eden Hazard. It came when he latched onto a Victor Moses pass down the right hand side. He then cuts past Stephen Davis and then smashes the ball between Fraser Forster's legs. The game would die down a bit for the rest of the second half, but to be fair to Southampton, they probably should have equalised the scoring in the first half, because they had the majority of the ball, and it looked like Chelsea were happy to sit back, soak up the pressure, and hit them on the break. But 10 minutes into the second half, Chelsea would double their lead, and it was the leading top goal scorer, Diego Costa, who scored a fine goal. He received the ball from Eden Hazard on the edge of the box, take a few touches, and curls it in from outside of the box. The only way that I can think of describing it, it's similar to Jordan Henderson's goal against Chelsea, but not as good. And that's how the game would end. Chelsea deserved all 3 points, as even though in the first half Southampton had the majority of possession, they only managed to get through the Chelsea defence once and only managed to record 1 shot on target in the full 90 minutes. This result put an end to Southampton's 6-game unbeaten run and keeps them 9th, and Chelsea record their 4th straight league win, something that hasn't happened since the 2014-15 season, and as you may remember, that was the season that Chelsea last won the league. And we move on to Everton versus West Ham. Nothing at all happened in the first half, and it would take until the 50th minute until we got the first bit of action worth talking about, and it came in the form of an Everton goal. It came when Seamus Coleman's shot is only parried by Adrian. Winston Reid is about to clear it, but Yannick Bolasie steals the ball off him and lays it up to Romelu Lukaku, who heads it across the line for his 50th goal for Everton. And this is also the 7th consecutive game that Romelu Lukaku has scored against West Ham. Everton would double their lead 25 minutes later, and it was Ross Barkley who started and finished the move. He has the ball on the halfway line before he clips the ball over to Romelu Lukaku, who holds it up on the left wing before crossing the ball into the box, and Ross Barkley, who was around about 50 yards, to half volley the ball home. And that's how the game ended. West Ham are in desperate need of their main strikers to return. Their summer signing Simone Zaza isn't performing, and thankfully for West Ham supporters, both Andy Carroll and Diafra Sakho are due back next month, and they will be welcomed back like heroes. But the Irons continue their lacklustre start to the season, and Everton get back into winning ways and are looking to bounce back from a string of mediocre results. And we move on to Watford versus Hull. The game had no action worth talking about, and it looked like this game was headed for a 0-0 draw, but in the 83rd minute, Hull captain Michael Dawson has the ball in the back of the net, but not the one that he hoped for. When Daryl Janmaat's cross is flicked on by Roberto Pereira, and it comes off of Michael Dawson's shoulder and into his own net. And that is how the game would end. A bit harsh on Hull, but looking at the stats, Watford probably deserved to win. Watford continue their great form this season, and they are sitting pretty in 7th, but Hull are in danger of drifting too far away from safety. And we move on to Tottenham versus Leicester. The game was dead for most of the first half, and it would take it to the 43rd minute until we got our first bit of action, and it came from a Tottenham goal. It also came from the penalty spot. Robert Huth brings down Vincent Janssen. After lots of protests from the Leicester players, Tottenham have the penalty nonetheless, and it was Vincent Janssen who steps up and puts it down the middle for his first league goal this season. But Leicester would equalise 3 minutes into the second half when £16 million signing Ahmed Musa puts it home. Also, if you play a bit of FIFA, I'd recommend signing Ahmed Musa on Ultimate Team. He is rapid, he is very quick, so cheeky tip from Mark there. Came when Jamie Vardy outpaces the Tottenham defenders before finding Ahmed Musa, who side foots it home. He did seem to injure himself in the process as he hobbled off for medical attention after this. And that's how the game would end. Tottenham still the only unbeaten team left, but they keep drawing. These draws are basically losses. Tottenham are going to be the only unbeaten team, but because they keep drawing, they're going to keep slipping down the table. Tottenham are now 4 games in all competitions without a win, and Leicester are still yet to win away from home this season. And finally, we've got scum of the earth, Manchester United versus Burnley. Who cares? Anyone care about the United? Can I move on? 0-0 draw. Only thing worth talking about. Ander Herrera getting sent off in the 68th minute. Jose Mourinho getting sent to the stands. United probably deserved all 3 points. It pains me to say that, but they probably did. They had 37 shots. They couldn't find the net because they're trash. And that's it. I'm done with United for this week. So that's all the fixtures this week. Before we go, let's have a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with the Premier League table. So starting with the top 5, as you can see, the top 5 remain unchanged from last week, with Manchester City, Arsenal and Liverpool all joint on 23 points, but City atop with 15 goal difference, Arsenal second with 13 and Liverpool third with 11. Chelsea 4th following their victory at Southampton this week, and Tottenham recorded their 5th draw this season, and that keeps them 5th in the league. Moving on to the bottom 5, as you can see, Sunderland still dead last, looking for their first win of the season. Swansea 19th without a win since the opening day of the season. Hull at 18th following another loss this week. West Ham is 17th after looking like they were finally finding their feet. They suffered another loss at the hands of Everton, and West Brom fall into the bottom 5 for the first time following this week's massive loss to Manchester City. Moving on to the Premier League top goal scorers, as you can see, Diego Costa is still top, and he added another goal to his tally with a gorgeous finish at Southampton. Romelu Lukaku is second, and he scored this week against his favourite team to play against West Ham. Sergio Aguero has boosted himself up to 3rd by scoring 2 goals this week. Alexis Sanchez also got himself 2 goals this week, and fellow gunner Theo Walcott makes up the top 5 with 5 goals and an assist to his name. So that's all I've got for you this week. I'll be back next Tuesday with the next episode of the Premier League Review. If you could tell, I am a little bit tired, so I don't think I'm as loud as I am this week. Hopefully I'll be back to it next week. I'm a little bit tired recently. I'm very sorry. If you did enjoy this though, be sure to leave a like on it and subscribe, it means a lot. If you want to go follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, the links are in the description down below. And thanks to the new annotations, they'll be on your screen. Oh my god, it's magic. And now the good thing with these, you can click them even when you're on mobile, so be sure to click my logo in the top right corner. And if you missed any of the Premier League review, you want to go watch that, that'll be in the top left corner of your screen, and I'll probably put the portion of Wrestling Podcast in the bottom middle, so you go click on that if you want to. Bang, bang, bang. I don't know why I did that. Bang, bang, bang. But anyway, I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I'll see you later.